Good morning, traders. It's 7:55 Central Standard Time, the 2nd of March, 2021. It's 21:55 here in Southeast Asia. So we've had quite interesting days lately here. Some phenomenal trading opportunities in the Globex. If anyone's taken advantage of them, that's hundreds of points there. And pretty much one-way traffic. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to, but in any case, looking at the bigger picture here, it's kind of a mixed bag. Settlement on the NQ is 13,279. Open interest 2356.20. The daily has been quite interesting, and boy, talk about a resistance level there at the just under the century figure of 400. They've had a hell of a time getting that thing to getting up through there. They haven't been able to in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. But they are one time framing up so far from Friday, Monday, today. We'll see if that works. They did come right back down to test these wicks and test this area that I had talked about earlier. And now we're just parked right under here. So there's a definite shelf going on there. And I can't really get any data back there to see if there's some big historical story out there somewhere. But this is back to September of 20, so 3 months anyway. What does this one say here? Well, guess that's all you're going to get. This looks pretty weird here. I don't know why that data's not coming through like that. Or that there's nothing historical going on. I don't know what's happening. I haven't had much luck with my quest for the data feed for Investor RT, so I'd have some charting. I reviewed the streams from Thursday and Friday, and though we did make a little bit of money here, still just quite undependable looking from my side of the fence. So anyway, we need obviously if we get above this area right here at somewhere anywhere above the century mark on that 400, we could definitely see some upside from that. And if it continues to reject and sell off, we've already broken structure from this uptrend. So they could, in theory, trade it down to anywhere around here, 12,400. Yeah. All right. And the market profile. This is kind of a good view, in my opinion, because it shows both the volume and the market profile. So take your pick, depending on which one you like. You can see that overnight trade here, which is represented by this profile, and this is the current trade location, has been essentially inside of yesterday's regular trading hours, which did develop overlapping and higher value. And it got up here just a little bit into this one where it started to break down. So they got they've got to get this up in here to the 13,600 area so they get back into this upper volume cluster before I'm going to start thinking they're going any higher towards 14. This could definitely just be basically trading. They've obviously found an area of trade right here where everybody's happy to do business. So could call it consolidation, could call it two-way trade. Take your pick. We've got a open volume POC from 4 days ago, 5 days ago, and one from yesterday. These are volume POCs. And we have a trading market profile TPO or a POC right here. That's kind of a funky looking red line. We have good excess on both ends. It's a little bit light here on the top. Pretty even profile for the overnight considering how much trade it put in. Now, looking at the range chart, essentially overnight inventory is 100% short. However, it's short into yesterday's regular trading hours range and value. Excuse me. Some water. Range and value. So that has a whole different impact on my thinking. We're trading right now on the value area high. Pulled down here and tested the value area low to the tick almost. And then now we're back up here at the value area high from yesterday. And that's where the bulk of the trade has been inside of yesterday's volume. Value and volume. Oh, and Tradovate does it again. They didn't test the lower value area low, and we're not trading on the value area high because once I move the thing and it rescales, God, that's just irritating. I'm going to have to do that. Well, I have just done it live on the stream, so I can show that to these guys and say, what is this about? That just really irritating. Really irritating. Well, it is what it is. Okay. So we'll just not be there's an old saying when I was growing up as a kid that's a poor workman that blames his tools. So we're not going to blame our tools. We're going to keep our head and do what needs doing here. And we're going to be actively searching for an alternative, of course. But that's just annoying. So Jigsaw, thank goodness, is putting along. I just wish to hell that the charting would work there so that I could just throw up one of those and to replace this trigger chart. But it just can't get it together with those beta charts they have. Just volume profile is just completely goofy, and you can't set the chart scale to even 10 or whatever ticks you want like I can here. There's a lot of it would be so nice if it were usable, but into my setup, which is not very complicated, I only have VWAP, 1, 2, 3 standard deviations of VWAP above and below, cumulative delta, and relative volume. So, I would pity those poor guys that have a whole chart full of spaghetti going on there with moving averages and fibs and all that stuff. So anyway, we will see what we see here this morning, trade what we see and not what we think. If I can try to get this charting to work a little bit and see value area high was down here at 235, POCs at 200. Okay. Settles right here at 289, I think it is, isn't it? 279. Right about there. And the close is way up here. So trading right on settlement now, pretty much. No, it's 289, not 279. Yeah, settlement's just up here. They traded up to it and came off. And on our old trusty standby here, we've got POC and VWAP. Yep, pretty close. So we will see just how it develops here in about 25 minutes. I think I'm going to modify this bracket just a bit here, like I have been threatening to do. That'll be 120 points. Or $120 or 6 points there. Still off the stop. We've still got an asymmetrical skew, but with the volatility, I just don't think that that's going to be reasonable, except I could set up another bracket completely that has got a, say, goes to 20, say 28 or 7 points and trails up to 7 points. And then at least we're within a point of our stop loss there. Let's see how that moves. Have a look, see at something else here quickly. Let's look at the daily. Where'd the 1 minute go? Oh, 5 minutes. See what the 12 points. Stays the same. Interesting. 1 minute it drops down. On the 1 minute chart, it drops down to 5 ticks. Points, 5.7 points. The hell happened? Oh yeah. 12 on the 5 minute. Get back to the trigger here with 10 ticks. I don't think you can do. I don't think that average trading range works on there. Oh, well, it does. I'll be damned. I didn't think so. Look at that, how it varies, though, from. That's interesting because it's a 5 tick range, so it ought to be, and I guess it is, pretty much within the 5 tick range for every bar. So that makes sense because it's a 20 tick or 5-point range. So that makes perfect sense. Okie dokie. And of course, we lost the volume profile. There we go. And what do we got for brackets over here? Scale 2, scalp, NQ, 8. This is how you do strategies on Jigsaw. So this is just a straight up 8 and 8, 1-to-1. Eight and 12. The scales in 2 with a target of 20 and 24. And the scalp is 32 and 25. Okay, that's all working. And the hotkeys. Change the trade size. Yeah. And enter market, lift the offer, buy the offer, lift the offer, hit the bid, market. Yeah. All right, so let's see what happens here. So let me see, what else do I need to think about here at the moment? I'm going to have to check over all these instruments. This thing also doesn't, you can't auto roll. They do give you a notification, but you can't just hit a button and auto roll to everywhere. It's kind of annoying. And what's happening with the Jigsaw? TopStep Combine dashboard. Let's see what that has to say. So there's the 50,000 account. Step 2, average winning day, best day, worst day, up. We're still in the scaling plan with 2 contracts max. We have the daily loss and weekly loss limits, and we're shooting for this target. And then we will be a funded trader. And there we have it. So 61, 67, 58% winners. Maximum duration is longer wins than losses. That's a good thing, or pretty close. That's the function of that bracket. Maximum consecutive wins and losses, 4, 4, 3, 2. Okay. All right. I hopefully will be hearing something from these Tradovate people here. I'm trying to do a workaround so that I can have the investor RT powered, short of just shutting this whole thing down and starting over with an investor RT rhythmic. And then I have to confirm that I can use Jigsaw, because the dome and stuff on investor RT isn't to my liking. Sierra chart had I had a pretty nice setup configured on Sierra chart. I was able to reconfigure their dome to where it was pretty much identical to the Jigsaw. But they don't play nice with anybody anymore. They don't play with Tradovate or TopStep or anybody. They use the Denali feed, and there you go. It's just, they don't play nice. As far as I mean, if you're just trading on on Sierra chart with IB or any one of the brokerages, of course it's a good platform, and they service it well, and they get along fine. But when you're trying to do something like this with TopStep, why they broke away from TopStep or vice versa, I don't know. It used to be a Sierra chart was available with TopStep, so it no longer is. Some story about not being able to use rhythmic data anymore. Don't know. right at settle, almost on the spot. Settlement is 279.75. You can't get much closer. And just a little bit more, there will be no gap. There's people that figure the gap a lot of different ways, but some from the close, some from settlement, some from the top of the trading range. I don't know. And now I can't see it very easily. Here's the open and close. Settlements down here where we're trading. This is the top of trading of the range. I don't know. They should start monkeying around here and jockeying for position. Late night yesterday. I had meetings till 2:30 in the morning, and I'm tired. I'm not going to be on the stream too long today. I was trying to sort out some stuff with Tradovate and company about data that would power the investor RT. So hopefully I'll get a couple emails about that, and then I'm going to hightail it. Still nobody's answering still no one answering my, I had quite communicative live chat with the guy the other day, and he told me that they will not configure the CQG data for TopStep right here. So I've asked. He says that it'll only be configured for a live Tradovate account. So I figured, okay, I'd fund a live Tradovate account with a minimum amount or $500 or whatever it is, and then I should be able to have that CQG data so that I can have my charting. I couldn't trade off the chart, but I would be able to have a reliable charting and trade off the dome. So I haven't been able to get any feedback from them yet today. So we will see. They're heading right back up to the close. About 7 minutes to the open. Get your water, have a bio break, relax, get mentally alert. Trade what you see, manage your risk. Your sole goal is to be able to trade tomorrow. If you properly manage your risk and take a extended amount of samples, your edge will manifest itself, and you will be a consistently profitable trader. Now, there's a lot of guys on the internet here that I watch, or YouTube that I have watched now and then and recently, doing very well every day, 600, 1,000 something dollars. But they don't trade with a stop. They average down. And those are things that I generally don't think are good practices. But how do you argue with success, I guess? Except that I've seen many times when this particular fellow that's in mind has also blown up his account. So I think on balance, he's probably profitable. However, I mean, if you're having $600 to $1,500 days, you string a few of those together, and then you got to string a few of those together. Then it takes you a while to you give yourself some cushion. So we'll see. We will see here. All right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And we're slowly but surely coming to a risk on posture in the indices anyway. Right up here at the top of yesterday's value and range and pretty much everything else. ES is moving up right toward everybody's right up to their close pretty much. So no gap rules today apparently. We shall see what we shall see. All right. Get alive, get alert. Do a couple push-ups or something and look out the window, have some water. Whatever it takes to get you fired up. And they're going to take it up here to the top, it looks like. Now, they won't have far to go for the overnight stat, that's for sure. Two minutes. The 2-minute warning. Yeah, what sport that is? Football? Basketball? Huh. One minute. We're green, risk on. We're above the close, above settlement substantially, 20 points. So they may try to take that top end out if we can get up over that daily resistance level that's been holding for the last 4 days. Up around 13, 350, 375. Should be open in about 2 seconds. And we're open. So there's no gap. They're bringing it back down towards settlement. Opening swing down lower initially. So there's our first leg of the opening swing. That's what the bracket would look like now. Very tight range. Getting there on open business taken care of there. There was no long or short overnight inventory. It's been pretty much taken care of through the night. Our volume's moved over now. We're right at value area high, and we've got about a 10-point range so far. On the ES, it's a little bit similar. A little bit similar. Say we might get some movement down on this one. Right here at that. Darn, it's just frustrating not being able to see that. It just irritates the crap right out of me, in case you haven't figured that out. Right on settlement. So they just traded it down to settlement, and then they're going to sit there and just enjoy themselves, I guess. Let's see if we get some down move here. May have been a little, there we go, a little bit premature. Come on. Oh, there we are. There we are. So that was 10 points, 40 ticks. That be right? Yes. That is right. On one short, and it's still running. And I still haven't figured out how to set this bracketing up so that I can take advantage of these. Now we're going to come down here to the VWAP and the POC from overnight. You know, what's going on with our neighbors over here on the dark side? Well, so there we go. 18 seconds. $200 on the day. Kind of mousy when it comes down there like that. Well, it bounced. It did its bounce, so that's a good thing. It's well, that's good. It's respecting those visual ranges, and I was just had my mouse there to click a resting order, and he who hesitates is lost. Son of a gun! There was another 200 points or 40 ticks, just clean as a whistle with no heat. Damn it! Very irritating when I'm asleep at the switch. They're taking it across value. POC is developing down here lower. And our value area is just overlapping a little teensy weensy bit. They haven't been able to take out that yesterday's regular trading hours high yet. So, boy, that is irritating. That would have been a very nice trade, and I put my mouse there to click, and then I started to talk and can't do two at the same time. Should trade first and talk second, I guess. That's just irritating. I do say that it appears the charting and yeah, no, not really. Why is this range overlapping? It should not be. This is the overnight range and this is the regular trading hours. Why is that overlapping? No, that's not right. Maybe it's because of where I am. Maybe that doesn't, I'm 14 hours ahead of Central Standard Time, so maybe their algorithm is not dealing well with those extended times. I don't know. Who knows? Keep pulling value lower. Now we're down here to the VWAP and the POC again. See if they take it a little bit lower this time. The ES is trying to go down. They need to get this a little bit lower through these values here. There we go. Well, the bracket ticked. So we're 320 on today in 2 trades, and we are 7 minutes in the market. And as tired as I am right now, I am going to end the stream at the top of the hour. And I'm going to sit back here and have a drink of water and think about my trades. Didn't leave a hell of a lot on the table here with that trade. And this one did, but, what are you going to do? So we pulled $120 out of that one and $200 out of the first. Average winning trade is 21 seconds. Longest was 23. 100% win rate. Expectancy is $160. Cup and handle or something like that, they call it. It is pretty classic, though, to see. Just, and then there's the little handle. I forget what the hell that's supposed to mean. I don't know whether that's a bottoming pattern and they say it's going up or whether it's a continuation pattern, to be honest with you. I'm not much of a... I had those Steve Nissen books and all that stuff a long time ago about Japanese candlesticks and all that. The cup and handle is actually a bar chart thing from the old technical analysis days. It's not even a candlestick pattern. Well, that value area low seems to be quite holding at the 13, whatever it is, 1333, 1332 level. There we go. Now, will they get down to the first standard deviation, and they're still inside of value? They keep scooting value lower here. There's no excess yet, and they're just coming off this Globex distribution. My guess would be, if I had to be a guesser, they're going to come down and try to tag this 13,200 to get, they'll come down and test that volume value area high again. They're right now, they're on, and just above that is the TPO value area, POC. So much for the cup and handle being a bottoming thing, eh? Come on, mouse, what are you doing here? Take advantage of not being on this other computer to charge my other mouse for my workstation. Yeah, there we go. And I guess they are getting down through there, heading for that single standard deviation, I would guess. ES is right down at this bottoming range, though. Look at that. Lot of resistance right there, or support, however you want to look at it. Support. And the VWAP. consolidation here. Again, they consolidated, fell, consolidated, fell. What are they going to do? Same thing again, I guess. Maybe they're just going to keep walking us down, grinding it down. As I've been jabbering, they're down from my last trade. They're down 20 points, so 30 points from my last entry point. And they're down 60 points from my first entry. Gee, mini Christmas, if I'd have just held, I've got to find a way to just sit on those damn things. Maybe move that bracket off and just have it go to break even so that it just keeps running and then keep pulling the target down. That's my thinking. That's my thinking. I'm a little bit disappointed as to why these jokers haven't answered me. Maybe they've decided I'm a pain in the butt and they're not going to talk to me anymore. But I thought I was quite friendly and just trying to find out, let them know about the discrepancy in the charting and let them know about that I was trying to find a way to use their data. They ought to appreciate the fact that I'm trying to stay with them from an execution point of view instead of just saying to hell with them and going off to something else. I mean, if I shut off this and go with Investor RT and Jigsaw for the next combine, I'll be on rhythmic data and that'll be the end of Tradovate. I won't. And I do like a lot of features about the program. There's no question about it. I like the performance center and I like their quote board over here is nice. I generally like the visuals. I just don't like them when I look over here and it's trading down here, and this one is trading at the top of the range. That like the other day, I think it was last Thursday. You know, when that stuff is screwed up and it's what you're using to make your living, that's not a pretty picture. And they did. They came down and tagged both of those POCs, the VPOC and the profile, just as I had suspected they might do. And they did, tagged it and turned around and went the other way. They still have no excess on the bottom of this value. They keep trading that value down. So we are now definitely overlapping, and we're not higher because the top of both ranges is exactly the same as it was. And they didn't pay much attention to the top of that overnight. So. Be right back, but I'm going to get a little water. Okay, here we are back in the saddle. They didn't do much, so I don't feel like I missed anything particular. All geared up here, ready for the sign off and the very welcomed trip to bed. When it's tested that value area low several times, I would suspect that it won't bounce and it would break through, but you never know. The first test is best, so there we go. Yeah, doesn't look like it's going to hold up. Well, what I get for thinking. 10 points, basically. Pretty close, anyway. So that's great. Those references are holding. I have to note that mentally and get back to using them. That's what I was trading before the first of the year end, and it was working out quite well. Just putting my trades at those references that I normally use, and then it got all squirrely out during the holidays, and it wasn't panning out too well. The ES is selling hard. I don't know whether these guys are going to follow. They just keep pulling that value down. That's pretty amazing, actually. Oh, well, that didn't work out like we had it planned. But they got the value area to shuffle back down there again. Huh. Not quite very good, though. That's late entry. Little breakout stuff. That's not good. Should be up in here. And now that they're coming up on the first bracket change, I might just sit here and call $165 good. I like 360 a lot better a minute ago, but let's see where we are. 66 for one. $158. Yeah. Not sure. Half back. Why wasn't I looking over here? They're right at the bottom of that profile and half back, and there's the value area low. So they will have traded completely across value for the regular trading session, I think. Yeah, that's hard to see that green right there. But there it is. Yeah, that was a dumb trade right here. No question about that. That's a sign of tired. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. That's what happens when you're not fully aware and switched on and you're trading. So I've got, 150 reasons why I'm sorry about that. I didn't pay attention to this profile area over here and should have. And now they're just going to jump into a little trading range here and consolidate a bit. And they still don't have any excess on that profile. And we're going to have a bracket change here in about 8 minutes. At the top of the hour. Now they're back up to yesterday's POC, both volume and profile. And they could trade it right across this range up to the POC here without any surprise to me. ES is making some headway to the upside, but it's right into this big value area here. They'd probably take this up to the POC, I would guess, but I would not guess that enough to throw some money out there and risk that trade by participating in that. My general bias, I like to short. I naturally think to short. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's some sort of psychological problem. I don't know what, but my first thought is to short. So especially in a situation where that's what's been happening all day. Short. I just real bad timing right there by not watching that we were down here at this mid half back area. And there's the value or the overnight Globex low. That stat is still out open, so one never knows. See if we can get up with this thing here. No. Well, that's from 300 bucks to 20, so that's not a good thing. But look at that. Exactly, so too tight a stop there on the bracket. The volatility is opening up, apparently. And they're right up to the POC. And now it's going to just chop range back and forth in here, I guess. That's just disappointing as hell. Oh, well. So that was, how much was that? Well, right now I would not trade into that POC. A lot of heavy volume right down there. And we're going to turn the bracket in 3 minutes. This trading range, I always get suckered into these things. These consolidation areas like that. But see, that's exactly the move I thought I was looking for to POC. And that's what I was looking for right here. But they weren't in the mood to do that yet. And so they caught my stop. Still doesn't look to me like it ought to be 8 points, but I guess so. I guess so. So which way are they going to go here? Are they going to consolidate and break higher across value? Are they going to consolidate and break down? ES is moving up. Participate in this thing right here and see what the hell happened. What do we got to lose? Sure, why not? Yep. Left without us. Left without me. Story of my life. Now we're coming from the POC out, so that's want to try to trade back into it here. Or if they can get across this value and move up, then that's possibility too. But taking it off the POC out is not a good move necessarily. Let's see what happens here. If we can get it up to the, we can take it up to value area high, or that ES is still moving. We're across there. We're not quite up to the half back over there yet. There we go. VWAP. It's a little better. I'm guessing they're gonna, well, they took it to this value. They traded across, that trade was obviously across this value area, low volume node. And with the VWAP and the value area high there, yeah, I guess it's about right. So I guess that's not too bad. Damn, it's really annoying that I had those two losers. I should have just not taken that second trade and I'd be up $360. That's just always the case. I wonder what that is. It happens frequently. You think, oh, I'll just take that one more trade, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, damn, now here I am down, and I got to do this again, and yada, yada, yada. Well, there was a pullback. Buy the pullback. Is that one of those buy the pullback deals? But this is just slopping back and forth across VWAP or POC, so that's a real likely spot to get your head handed to you. We did have the bracket change. So we were up $1.60 and now we're down to 140. Not good. That's not 60% profitable. $18 on the commissions. That's just irritating right there. That's that stop hitting me for two of them. Right there. So if we're 3 for 5, I guess. And now we're in pretty much of a chop zone. So I believe I'm going to take my 140 here and call this a night. I liked it a lot better when I was ahead of this game a little higher, but what are you going to do? I don't want to get all, I want to try to get some rest while I can in anticipation of the rest of the week for both my day activities and my trading evening trading activities at night and in the daytime. And that's just a chop zone there. And they may well stay exactly in that for a lot of the day because they're right over top of value. They're in value. They're in range in both volume and POC, TPO, sorry. So this might just be a prolonged extravaganza here that I'm not going to sit up and get chopped up over. So with that, trade smart. Remember, your goal is to be able to trade tomorrow. I'm going to remember that, and I am going to call it a stream here. A short one, but unfortunately should have shut it off 15 minutes ago, and I was up 360 with no losers or one loser. So now we're at 140. We're 440 for 300, And that's where we are. This trading range stuff will kill you. Right here off the POC, that'll just kill you. Kill me anyway. I wish you all the best of luck. Trade smart, trade safe. Be smart with your everything else in your life. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Do what you need to do to stay healthy and stay in the game. Best of luck.